Hello, 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 everyone. My name is Jay Kraft, e-commerce expert, here to talk with you tonight about the joys of cubic shipping and how it can save you a ton of money. I'm joined tonight by a live audience here on Facebook, and this entire video is being uploaded later to YouTube. So if you're watching this live, feel free to ask your questions in the comments below. And if for some reason you're watching this later on YouTube, I hope you take the time to stop and subscribe to my channel and stick around, check out a few of the other videos that we have up there as well. So first and foremost, I would like to thank the admin of Thrifting with the Boys for having me come down to talk with you guys about cubic shipping today. We presented with a few different groups before in the past, and if you know another group that you think could benefit from this type of education, it's completely free. Just let the admin know that I'm available and have them send us a message, and we'd be happy to host a training program with them as well as doing training programs for small businesses out there. Again, my name is Jay Kraft, e-commerce expert, and let's get started with tonight's training program. Also want to give a quick thank you to Pam Bianco, who is out there making sure that the comments stay nice and tidy for us this evening. So, first and foremost, what is cubic shipping? It's pretty straightforward, for me anyways, but for those of you who are new to it, is a service that's being offered by USPS. And a lot of people don't really know about it for the very simple fact that you usually need to be sending about 50,000 packages a year to qualify for cubic. So I know what you're thinking, like, I'm not sending that many, how am I going to get it? Well, we've got a really great promo going on right now where we're actually working with a company called Pirate Ship. And if you follow the link over there to the side, bit.ly/cheap ship, it'll take you to a landing page. It'll get you signed up. And here's the great part. It's completely free. Doesn't cost anything. There's no sign-up cost. There's no monthly cost. There's no yearly cost. You only pay for your postage, and it's going to be the cheapest rates online guaranteed. It'll never be more expensive than eBay, and I'm just going to hammer that point early so you know it, but it's going to be completely free. So everything we're talking about tonight with you guys is free. At no point am I going to try and charge you for anything. So the big difference for cubic shipping that makes it a lot different than your standard shipping is that we focus on the size first of the package, then the destination, and then the weight of the package, opposed to traditional USPS shipments where we focus first on weight, then destination, and then size. I know that sounds a little bit crazy. So we have items, generally as a thrifter, we go out, we do our sourcing, and we pick stuff up, and we're like, this is pretty darn heavy. I don't know if I want to buy it. This is something that you want to get in your mind real quickly, is that as long as the item is under 20 pounds, okay, all the boxes that we're going to be looking today are going to act like flat rate boxes. I know that sounds crazy, or even flat rate bags for that instance as well. So we're focusing on the size of the item, then the destination, then the weight. It's really, really interesting, especially when you start seeing the charts that we have to come. I also do want to throw a note out that we're going to be talking about some of the changes that are happening to first class mail starting in 2019. We have some fresh charts for those coming out as well here in just a few seconds. And knowing how cubic works and understanding how the zones work and how they're relevant to you is going to be very, very important starting next year. Because if you're like me and you send a ton of stuff out first class and you're worried about these changes, which I really am, my cost is going up when I'm shipping to the East Coast for first class opposed to shipping to the West Coast. And if this is brand new news to you, it's new news to a lot of people. Here, I'll even put the chart on screen real quick just so you guys can see it. Look at this chart. Okay, so this is all based on zone shipping just for first class. But we're going to get back to that here in just one second. But I just want to give you an idea of just how important it is to understand cubic moving forward. Okay, so beyond that, like I said, all the packages, we're going to be looking at stuff that's up to 20 pounds and no longer on its longest length than 18 inches. And that's just kind of how cubic works. We're worried about the cubic. That's cubic stands for cubic dimensions, cubic foot, cubic inches. Okay, so we're looking at everything up to a half a cubic foot, no longer than 18 inches. And here's the thing. I know that sounds a little convoluted right now. It's going to make sense in just a moment for you, okay? The other thing that's important to note is that this is also valid with USPS boxes as well. So if you have a USPS box, any of the materials that they have, as long as they don't say flat rate, and as long as they don't say regional rate, you can use them for cubic shipping. Now, another thing with this site too is I want to specify, through that link over there to the side, you can still ship all of your normal packages. So if you're shipping first class, priority, cubic, express, parcel select, media mail, all of those things can still be shipped over there. I do 100% of my packages through there because it's cheaper and it's quicker and it's just more efficient for me as a seller. I can do bulk outs and everything like that too. And you got to check it out to see what I'm talking about, but it's really, really nice. So the only restrictions on the types of boxes and materials that you're using. Is if you're using if you're using flat rate, it has to be flat rate. If you're using a media mail, if you're using like branded materials, it has to go where it's supposed to go. Regional is regional, flat is flat. And the other thing too is if you're using soft pack materials like poly bags or poly bubble or Tyvek mailers or anything like that, they cannot be gusseted, okay, which means they can't have a fold in them. And I'll cover that more here in just 1 second. So what I want to do real quick is I want to back up for a second, and I want to teach you guys about how zones work in relation to where you live. Because there seems to be some serious confusion as far as how zones work. I've heard people say, well, I don't have to worry about it because I live in zone 1. And I just want to specify, we actually all live in zone 1. So let me pull this chart up real quick. This is where I live. Beautiful Fresno, California. See, now you just can't trust me because I didn't tell you the truth right there. Now, Fresno, I love Fresno, but it's not the most scenic of places. But this chart, it's a wonderful chart. I'm looking at it on another screen up here. I have an arrow pointed out to where Fresno, California is. And my zone 1 is right around where I live. And then a little bit further out beyond that, you're going to see the zone 2, zone 3, zone 4, zone 5, all the way up to zone 8. And this is going to affect the actual cost of your packages moving forward into 2019, whether you do cubic or not. If you're a first class seller, if you sell anything on first class, you need to understand how this chart works. Okay, there's no easy way about it because the prices are going up. It's based on weight and based on zone. But tonight we're talking about cubic, specific cubic shipping. So here's another example. If you're shipping out of Austin, Texas, this is what your zones are going to look like. Okay, you can see how it's spreading outward. Now, some of these ranges and ripples are indicative on where delivery is actually going to and where central hubs are. So you'll see kind of spike outs so it's not just like a perfect curve like some of the previous charts that we've shown. And then here's an example. If you're at the 10,001 block in New York, and you're having your packages go from East Coast out to the West, you can see almost all of the West Coast, 3 states over and across, that entire area over there is going to be a zone 8 shipment for you. What does that mean? That means your first class can be as high as $5.53. Okay, a little bit rich. And other packages like your priority mail packages, if you've sent something out priority and you've wondered, like, why is it so darn expensive when I ship to the East Coast, you can see just where the rate increase really starts to happen. Okay, and believe it or not, there's actually zone 9s and there's zone 10s, which are talking about things like Alaska. We're talking about things like, Easter Islands, Puerto Rico, sovereign territories and stuff to that effect, where you're going to see zone 10 rates, but I don't think we're going to be even touching on those today. So this gives you a broad overview of how zones work. One more time, just for people jumping in right now, you can see the zone is indicative on where you are shipping your package from, not just a broad consensus of what zones are across America. So let's go and back it up back to our chart again over here. Okay, give me one moment. I got so many buttons over here. So what do we have here? Okay, this is a basic breakdown of all the different things going on with cubic. So like I said, we have a little bit of a chart here, and this is a new chart as well, but it's not the final chart. We're going to be looking at some updated rates, probably coming in about 2 to 3 weeks as some of the prices start rolling out. I should have the chart in about 10 days, but things aren't going to be adjusting much, but it's important that you understand the premise of these charts right now. So across the top of the chart, you're going to see we have those same distances, and these are reflective of the maps that I just showed you a second ago. So we have zones 1 through zones 9, and I have 9 up there, but it's in red because I'll be honest with you, less than 0.01% of my packages actually go zone 9, so we don't even really consider that. So what we look to is zone 8 is what we're talking about the most. I had previously color-coded it, but I felt that it really wasn't adding much value. So with this chart right here, we just went with the original. So like I said, across the top, you're looking at those same distances, 150 miles up to 300 miles, 600, 1,000 miles, 1,400, 1,800, and then 1,800 plus all the way there at the end. Okay, so that chart going side to side, okay, and then top to bottom, you have your cubic sizes, cubic 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and that 5 is a 0.5, which stands for half a cubic foot. So I know those numbers don't mean anything. I'm going to show you some packages while I cover some of the other key advantages. So like I said, it's based on the dimensions of the package. So I have my lovely fancy smancy 18-inch ruler right here, and you all own an 18-inch ruler, right? I don't even know how I got mine. I just happen to own one. So this represents the longest dimension that you can have on any given package to have it qualify for cubic shipping still. Okay, let me make sure we got no comments up there. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask them. Okay, so this one right here, when you're doing your packages, now this one has the dimensions printed on the outside, but this is obviously it looks like a small flat rate. It's not a small flat rate. This is a 1096L. If you don't have any of these, I strongly suggest you get some. But the dimensions are printed on the outside, but let's just say that part had worn through, or you're shipping with a similar box. All you're going to do is you're going to measure it up. This is 9¼ inches on one side. You're going to punch in 9.25. When you're doing your measurements too, it's always rounded down to the nearest 1/4 inch. And believe it or not, there's companies who take advantage of this, and they'll put something up for 9.48 inches, and then that rounds down to 9.25. And they can actually squeak a little bit more out. The other dimension, we're looking at 2 1/8, which will actually be 2 inches. And then if we look at our width dimension, we're looking at 6 1/4 inches, okay? So when you go to the pirate ship site, using that link over there, all you're going to do is punch in the dimensions of the box, and then you're going to punch in the weight. And just so we're clear, anything that goes inside this box up to 20 pounds is going to be the same price into the same zone. So let's say I'm shipping this 1,000 miles away. It's cubic 1. It's going to be $6.98 up to 20 pounds within this box. I know what you're thinking. You're like, Jay, I can't fit 20 pounds in there. And I'm, well, if you're shipping out coins, or if you're shipping out BBs, if you're shipping out anything that's exceptionally dense for what it actually is, I've seen decorative sands. Sometimes people need a little more space than a small flat rate's going to provide. It's important to remember too, small flat rates are going up in price. Padded flat rates are going up in price. Everything's going up right now. So understanding cubic is going to save you more and more money. And then the other thing, I can't stress this enough, knowing that you have cubic in your back pocket really allows you to start buying items that you may have traditionally stayed away from. We're talking things like coffee cups that maybe fall in that, $18 to $25 range, and you've always thought to yourself, well, it's going to cost me $10 or $12 to ship it. No, it's going to cost you no more than $7.53 to ship a coffee cup if it's boxed correctly. Okay, so squeezing out those extra margins can make certain items viable now where they weren't viable before. It's just a big opportunity to be able to make some more money. So this is what a cubic 1 looks like. And like I said, we're looking at up to half a cubic foot. Now, the other thing to keep in mind too, I can't stress this enough. This is the cheapest rates you're going to find online. There is no website out there. I don't care how much you pay them. You can pay stamps your $50 a month. You can pay Shippo your $20, $30, $60 a month. Pirate Ship is free. It doesn't cost anything to use it. Okay, they're leveraging volume to be able to get that price point across to consumers like yourself. So take advantage of the free service, and it's never going to go up in price either. Here's another example of a cubic 1. This one is 4 by 4 by 10 inches. So how big is that? For those of you who can't tell, I mean, we have my head here for scale, but how big is that really? That's about the size of a wine bottle minus a little bit of the neck on top. So just so you have an idea on volume, okay? So anything in there, like I said, up to 20 pounds, we're looking at anywhere between $6.35 to as much as $7.53. And that's based on current rates as of right now. And we're going to go ahead and give you one more example of what it can look like. This is an 8 by 6 by 3.5. Really nice and tidy. Like I said, though, remember, all USPS packaging that does not say flat or say regional is compliant with this. So you can use a 7 by 7 by 6. You can use one of their boxes. This is a cubic 2. Anything you can fit inside of here, coast to coast, $8.46 maximum right now. And then on the cheap end, let's just say you're shipping it in your own state, look at about $6.80. Value town on one of these bad boys. Okay? Good size to work with. Let's take a look at another two. This one is, all these boxes I built myself, but this one's slightly bigger than the last one. This is 7 by 7 by 7. This is maxing out the largest sizes that you can make for each one of these individual boxes. Now, the other thing to note too, it's really important to know this, is that you can actually cut these boxes down. So we have a priority mail shoebox size. I don't remember the official coding letters for it, but we all call them shoe boxes. This is a regional 3 or cubic 3, excuse me. And then some of these boxes, they even have it, like I said, the dimensions are printed on the box. That or this one box that I have here simply does not have it. They're usually printed on the, oh, there it is. Okay, it was underneath of my tape. So if you look at some of them, you can see where it has the dimensions printed straight on there. You can just punch them straight in if you're using this exact box the way it is. You want to use the outer dimensions, not the inner dimensions. But it's important to know that you can cut this down, okay? Almost to the size of about a regional A. Fold your flaps in, and you don't even have to cut the flaps off anymore because you don't really care if there's an extra ½ pound of cardboard because it doesn't cost you anything. So cut the flaps down, fold it in. You could probably get this down to a 2. Save yourself even more money. So that's what I tell people is important to remember. The smaller you can get the box, the better, but obviously you want to pack it safely. So don't try and cut too many corners. Okay? You want to make sure that it can ship out safely and you can make sure that it gets to the customer all in one piece. Here's another example of what a 2 can look like. This is a 10 by 8.5 by 4. Okay? Very, very nice. And like I said, I built these so that people could visualize in their head what some of these boxes actually look like, because I understand if I say ½ cubic foot, that doesn't really mean anything to anyone. Let's take a look at one more. This is a 3. This is how big a 3 can get. This is a 10 by 8 by 6. Now, this is something that you may actually want to order boxes in this size because coast to coast is $10.76. It's important to remember that medium flat rates are going to be getting a bump. I think they're going to be $12 or $13 coming next year, which is insane. I remember when I used to be able to ship a medium flat for, what was it, $9.70? Just maybe 3-4 years ago. So this is the closest that you're going to be able to get to shipping that volume for that pricing. And let's be honest, most of us, we never ship anything out that's going to weigh more than 20 pounds. It's just an absurd concept to believe that we're going to do something like that. Let's take a look at 1 or 2 more examples here, and then we're going to take a look at some poly bags. This is what a 4 looks like, okay? If you're curious what it is, scale-wise, this is about the size of a high-end box of flowers. You'd see like a flower delivery person in a movie, but it's actually a Tommy gun on the inside. It's that size of box. So if you own a faux flower box that holds something it shouldn't be, that's about the size you're looking at. This is 18 by 8 by 4.5. So like I said, a lot of volume. You're looking at anywhere between $7.67 on the low end, okay? And honest to God, most people, like if you live in the center of America, you're probably not going to see more than $11.50 at any given time on that size, but we're looking at as high as $14.17 on the back end. And I'm going to show you 2 examples of some 5s really quick. This is a 5 right here. And then the other thing to note, I gotta throw this out there as well. I know some people are going to say, Jay, I use eBay. They give me this special discount just because I'm an eBay seller. I get this top-rated special. This is a 12 by 10 by 7. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and burst that myth right now. Every single person should be getting that rate on eBay. And if you're not, eBay's actually keeping the extra money. That money goes into their pocket because they're only able to really charge one type of label price. And it's even believed, too, that they might be selling cubic on the back end and then not actually charging you for that. They're charging you full price on a priority. Well, here's the great part. Top rated or not, if you're shipping items out, you're going to go ahead and get that top rated price. It's actually called Consumer Pricing Plus, or CPP. You're going to get that on all of your priority packages. So that discount that you see people get, you're going to get that here regardless of the volume. You ship 1 package, you ship 1,000 packages, you're going to get Consumer Pricing Plus on all of your standard priority non-cubic packages. And then obviously you get the cubic because, I mean, why else are we here today? This is the last example I have of a cubic 5. Look at the size on this bad boy. 18 by 18 by 2.5. Now, obviously you're never going to ship anything in a box like this, but I just want people to know this is how big it can actually get. This is a mighty fine box size. Hope everyone's taking notes out there. Those of you who are jumping in late, the rebroadcast of this is still going to be available on YouTube as well as Facebook. Again, if you have any questions, don't be afraid to leave them down in the comments. I'm going to take a quick drink. You know what? Let's get that cool music playing one more time because I miss that music. That's good music. There we go. Let's take a look at these poly bags right now. So, those of you who don't ship using poly bags, I'm telling you, you're throwing money away, okay? What are poly bags? Are these really awesome, durable, these are 1.5 mil thick poly bags. They're super, super strong. Somebody even challenged me to try and rip one of these, and that's why you'll see this one's absolutely destroyed. But these things do not get destroyed in shipping unless you get the really, really chintzy ones. You can get about, excuse me, you can get about 100 of these bad boys. Okay, this is a 10 by 7.5. You get 100 of these for about $10, $12 right now. They're filthy cheap. They're great for shipping soft goods. So we're talking clothing, stuffed animals, any type of arts and crafts materials like soft stuff. You're going to be able to ship those in these. And then even if you want to protect something, let's say you have it in a box. Okay. let's say you have one of these smaller 1096Ls. I don't know if it'll fit in this one, but I'll show it to you in a 2. You can actually put your bag or your box inside of a bag. And then you're thinking, Jay, why would you want to do that? It can actually save you money. Sometimes it's actually cheaper to do it that way, to box up a bag or bag up a box to be able to shave off a few more cents on your cost. So figuring out your cubic rates, they're so much easier. You're only measuring 2 dimensions. And then you're taking the total, and if you look at the chart, you can see anything from 0 to 21 inches is the same price, okay? And it's gonna be running that same line across the top, that same cubic 0.1 across the top row. Same thing happens with soft pack. So that's a 1, and here's what a 2 looks like. This one is a 15 by 11.75, and this is actually one made by, not necessarily made by eBay, but it's an eBay branded product, so you can get it in the eBay store. And what's really great about this one is this maxes out cubic 2. This is as big as cubic 2 can get. And I also want to emphasize too, because I keep getting asked this question so many times, you have to use the original dimensions on this. If you take this and you fold this down and your package ends up being this big when you get ready to ship it out, these aren't the dimensions you use, because you're going to be able to get stuff inside of this bag that you wouldn't otherwise. You know, maybe you're stuffing, cramming, folding, yada, 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 that you wouldn't otherwise if you weren't to do that. So you have to use the original dimensions of the bag, even if you fold it down. Yes, they can detect that too. They have brand new scanners that can detect when people are lying about box size, box weight, and even bag size. So it's something you have to be careful about, because you can have your shipping privileges revoked. So don't try and cut corners to be able to save a couple of bucks. So that's an example of a 2. I'm gonna show you a 3 real quick. This is a 17.5 by 12. Okay, this totals out to, I don't know what that is, 29 and a half. Is that right? Yeah, so 29 and a half. So this isn't maxing it out completely, but it's getting close. And then here is a 32.5 total inches. This is a 18 by 14.5. This is a pretty big bag, pretty darn big. And then if you think that one's great, wait till you see this last one. And you're probably wondering, Jay, why do you have these giant bags? And I'm asking my own questions here because I don't have anyone asking questions right now. Look how big this is. I gotta back up for it. I'm almost gonna run into the window in my fake office. Look at this. Giant bag. This is a 18 by 18. This is a 36 inch bag in total. So anything you can fit inside of here, anywhere in America, is going to cost you $17.54. So this might be one of those scenarios where you would actually put a box inside of a bag because it could potentially save you money. But we're also talking things like large plush, pillows, blankets, comforters, anything like that that's been traditionally difficult to ship and traditionally expensive to ship based on the dimensions. This is a great alternative for it, because those of you who don't know, they call it dimension shipping or dim ship. With priority packages, when they get too big, they start basing them off dimensions. That's where you start seeing prices really start getting out of control, and that's why having this option at your disposal is really, really nice. So we're going to pull up one more page real quick, and this is going to be the last slide that I have for you before we talk about the first class changes real quick, which we are going to have a dedicated video for on that one as well. This is my FAQ page. These are the questions that I get the most every time I do one of these classes. I do my best to try and update each time. First one is, how much does it cost? And again, I cannot stress this enough. This is completely free. I will never need any of your money at any point for you guys to do this. It's 100% free. Just go over there and sign up, start saving money right away. Do I have to copy over tracking numbers? No. All you do is you sign up, connect your eBay account, and then it automatically fetches the orders that need to be done. You punch in your shipping, your labels, you get them all printed out, and as soon as you're done printing it, it exports that tracking number directly to the item. There's no extra steps required by you to get that process done. The next thing, will the labels be the same? No, the labels do not look the same. If you're using a Dymo 99019 labels, or a house label 99019 labels, or using a Dymo 450 printer. But I have produced a video on my YouTube channel where you can watch to see how to integrate those labels correctly, so that way you can print out something that will work. Now, if you're using a standard 4x6, an XL or Dymo, a Zebra, a Brother, if you're using one of the bigger ones that give you the 4x6, you're gonna have no issues at all whatsoever with label integration. Next one, can I still make non-cubic labels as well? And the answer is yes. You can do first class, you can do your standard priority, cubic, media mail, you name it. You can do all your other labels there too. Your current discounts, whatever you're receiving, they're going to be greater here. It's either going to be the same price or cheaper. We got a question coming in from Stephanie. Thank you for taking the time to watch and ask, when using the poly bag, does it have to have the size printed on it, or it can be a heat sealer and change the size to be a custom size poly bag? Now, if you are using a heat sealer, that does give you a massive advantage because your original dimensions are going to be the same as your final dimensions. So you're going to be able to get something in there, seal off that edge, and essentially it's the same size start or stop. So if you are using one, yeah, it's going to be the exact same size in the end as it will at the beginning because you're not doing like a fold over or anything to try and reduce the size. So if you are using a heat sealer, yeah, you know what I'm talking about. You get what I'm saying. As far as the dimensions on the outside, I actually just wrote those on there for my own reference. You will never have to write on a poly bag. You'll never have to write on a box. All of the information that USPS needs will be printed out on the label. They will identify it as cubic. The dimensions will be loaded into the back end, and then the machine's just going to cross-reference check to make sure that you didn't fib the numbers a little bit. They've had issues with companies doing that historically for years where they'll shave off 1/2 inches, 3/4 of an inch and stuff like that because, you know, if you're shipping out 1,000 packages a month, that can save you what could be $2,000 or $3,000 every month. So some companies have done that, unfortunately. So now they have this brand new system they utilize or are implemented 3 months ago to try and stop that type of activity from happening. And you're very welcome. Thank you for asking the question. I really do appreciate that. And then the last one, what about my existing boxes? Any USPS box you have, you're going to be able to use. So if you have any more questions, feel free to ask them. We're going to go ahead and take this last few seconds and we're going to take a look at this brand new chart. This just came out. I just got this put together. Thank you to the people over at Pirate Ship for sending over an original and allowing me to add a little bit of embellishing to it to try and spice it up a little bit with my own wonderful link over there on the side. Let's take a look at this chart one more time. I'm going to wait for it to load up here on my top screen. I'm running on a 20-second delay, so I have it kind of tiny down here, but as soon as it pops up, we're going to take a look at it together. And this is some of the changes that are happening to first class. Let me get one of these little windows closed here. So those of you who don't know, first class is getting more expensive next year, but surprise, surprise, it gets more expensive every single year. So what are we talking about? We're talking about how still from 1 to 4 ounces, you're still looking at the a flat rated cost price wise. You're not seeing like individual bumps on the ounces, but if you look over to the other side, this is where those zone charts come in and become so important. So you understand how zones work. So traditionally, when I had a 4-ounce package, it was $2.66, and it did not matter where it was going. It was all the same price. It was all gravy. If it was my mother down the street or if it was my cousin across the ocean, you know, or not across the ocean, on the other ocean, it was the same price. Now we're looking at prices that can go as high as $3.09 from coast to coast. Okay, so that's a significant bump, but you still get a discounted or reasonable price if you're shipping it someplace in between. And you're going to see this all the way across from all prices. I'm not going to step through every single one, but you're going to see your Zone 1, Zone 2 prices go from a baseline $2.66, okay, which was the traditional old price, up to a $4.94 price, which was also the traditional old price. But you're going to see the rates on the high end, the Zone 8 rates, okay, going up to $3.09 baseline minimum on Zone 8, up to $5.53 for a Zone 8 type scenario. And the thing about that is it's important to start being cognizant of the types of items that you're selling online, especially the impact that it might have for your first class shipments, and really keep that in mind moving forward, okay? Let's see here. Does it have to be a USPS box or can be any box? Maybe I missed that during your last show. This is all new to me. Well, hey, that's fine. You know, at one point it was new to me as well. So the answer is it can be any box you want. Brown box, yeah. USPS box, anything you want to ship in. It can be completely fine. The only thing they care about is the actual dimensions of the package. That's the big priority right there. So guys, look at this has been everything. I tried to cram it into a nice quick show. Reason is this is going on YouTube. I want people to be able to stop and learn. Again, if you have any more questions, ask them right now. If not, I'm going to be buttoning up. I'd like to carry on with my evening tonight, but I do want to give a couple of quick plugs for you guys. Okay, firstly, I want to thank the Shipping with the Boys group for having me on here. We are going to be doing another class next week on their page. We're going to be looking at new charts as well. We're going to have the brand new cubic chart, hopefully by next week, and we're going to be unveiling the new rates first before you see them anywhere else. We're going to be rolling them out for you guys so that way you guys can see them. And then on top of that, I want to plug my personal show. Check this out, this nifty little background. It's called the Sunday Reseller Roundup. This show airs on YouTube every single Sunday, minus the rest of this year. Season premiere starts beginning of January, I think. We might do a Christmas special, but we cover a whole plethora of stuff. We talk about reseller news, current events that are happening, shipping changes, and then I did a crazy video about eBay helping out Chinese sellers by bringing and making a brand new company called Orange Connex to help international sellers import their goods here to the States. It's crazy. You got to check it out. But check it out. All the links are down in the descriptions as well. There's tons of great stuff to see. So if you enjoyed this, if you had fun with this, here, we'll even live this one up. Let somebody know. Share this with another group. Share this with an admin that you think would enjoy having this on here. If you have any more questions, let me know. Feel free to join our group too, facebook.com/Bolarama. Let me get these links down here for you as well. And yes, you can use Amazon recycled boxes as well. Facebook.com/groups/Bolorama. And everything's going to be in the description as well. Guys, it's been fantastic working with you today. If you have any more questions, don't be afraid to message me. My name is Jay Kraft on Facebook, and this has been a pleasure. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and I will see you very soon. Oh, enjoy this beautiful outro where we thank all of the patrons who helped make this possible, because I don't get paid to do this. The patrons who help support free knowledge and education made this possible. So let's go and play our outro and thank them. You guys have yourself a wonderful night.